Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Deep Dive, the podcast that allows us both to dive into the inner workings of my mind and make some sense of some of the headlines and topics that we like to talk about. And as always, this podcast and other podcasts in the Jazzy Groove Rainy Day podcast family are brought to you by the power of five. If you like what we're doing, at the very least, show your love, support the channel, like the video. And with that, let's get into it. There is a video by Pearl Davis. Shout out to Pearl Davis and Pearl Daly and the people over there at the Audacity Network. And this podcast dealing with one Brianna Chickenfry's situationship and her breakup with Zach, whatever his name is. He's a big rock star. And at first, I wasn't going to get into it. Because I'm like, hey, it's just another one of those breakup things. It's no big deal. Someone else will talk about it, and it'll be fine. And Pearl talked about it, so it was all right. But then I actually watched it, and you can feel the delusion that this chick feels is going through, and her womanese coping mechanisms that she likes to employ to make her look like the victim and him, Zach, the villain in all this. And it is textbook delusion, textbook narcissism, textbook victim blaming and shaming. Fill in the blanks. Let's get into it. Uh-oh. Wait a second, we're having a bit of a problem here. Wait a second. Here we go. Now, let's get into it.
You know, again, you could say that's controlling, but abuse? I don't know.
Okay. Looking back and getting into the weeds and going into his backstory for context, she's claiming abuse on the way that he treated her. Now they were together for about a year. At first things were going good and then they went bad. And Pearl actually brought up something that is really important to the conversation. And that is this. She was punching out of her weight class. Now you're going to see her in a minute. And then I'm going to stop the video again and we'll dive in there a little bit. But
change my image to
okay, there she is. She's mid. She's okay. But she's not someone who I would date with the intent to marry. And also, she's an influencer. And as Myron, shout out to Myron, and as Pearl, shout out to you and everybody else in the manosphere space has made public and made clear. You, people that tend to be influencers, you don't go into a situation with them with the intention of wifing them. Because their stock and trade, their reason for being is attention. And when you don't fit the bill for attention anymore, they're gonna leave you. You're just another number. It is what it is. It's not right. It's not kind. It's not fair. It's not just. It just is. Let's get back into it.
Like keep up with his or something. So like I was twisted in the head, like, okay, yeah, he doesn't want to be with a girl that, I don't know, has cleavage. So let me fucking whatever. But do you know what the craziest part is?
Okay, for more context, she went to the Golden Globes in a revealing shirt. They'll show the video in a little bit. And at first he seemed to be okay with it, and then turned around and told her that he didn't like that dress up like that, this, that, and the other thing. And again, shout out to Pearl. She brought up the thing that most people are not going to be cool with it, but they're not going to tell her that. When you're in the moment, everything is great. Step away from the moment, start to see things clearly. That's not cool. And that's why guys really need to be on point so that they can tell women what it is. I work on it. I'm not there yet. But you really have to be careful on what you say and when you say it. Forget about how you say it, because it's never gonna. If it's negative, it's never going to be taken correctly. So that's a non-starter. If you're going to tell somebody, "Hey, I don't think you should wear that," no matter how you say it, she's not going to like it. So get that thought out your head right off the bat. Now, should you be cold and icy about it? No. But you got to be firm about it. It's like, I don't think you should wear that. And then if you have to, explain why. If you're in a position where you can just say, don't wear that and leave it at that, then you leave it at that. But I can guarantee that most guys aren't there. So what you need to do is, I don't think you should wear that because, and then explain why. Again, there are guys out there that don't have to do that. And to those guys, I say, all right, there you go. But most guys aren't there. And to those guys, are the ones I'm talking to now, those are the guys that you have to say, I don't think you should wear that because it's a bit revealing. Guys look at you funny, and I'm really not comfortable with it. And once again, shout out to Myron. The next thing he says is really important. You better be prepared to back that up. You don't want to do it? Fine, you're single. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to argue with you. Pack your stuff and go. Or I'm going to go and I'm not coming back. And you're going to have to stand on that. And it's going to hurt. Especially if you really care for the person. It's going to hurt. But I think that it's easier to have that bit of hurt now than to multiply it by 20 later when she does something that's really messed up and there's no way back from it. Let's get back into it.
Wasn't like the thing is, I don't like we'll probably show a photo in the podcast, obviously, of this dress, but it wasn't like it was like some like.
There it is. There it is. She looks now. Full disclosure, she's all right. She's all right. No, I'm not gonna lie. But look at the cleavage. If you belong to somebody, why are you showing it? And this goes back to the whole influencer thing and all that stuff. That's her stock in trade, which makes her recreational use only. And that's what she was. A guy will tell a girl anything and everything in the hopes that he's going to get between her pants. Anything and everything. Nothing. All is fair in love and war. There's never been a truer saying. There's never been a truer saying. All is fair in love and war. There's no do-overs. There's no mulligans. None of that stuff. All is fair. If you can think it, you can do it. If you can do it, it's fair. Let's get back to it.
No. Super unmodest, like,
No, it was
like horrid
I loved
dress.
it. I
You were
loved
at the
the dress.
Golden Globes.
Yeah.
You were at the Golden.
I mean, I won't even lie to you. I think it looks really pretty on her. But I mean, these I feel like these are like it's about to be your nipple. You know.
It's like it's like a high.
And again, the dress looks good on her. But that's not the place for it. And that's important. There's a time and place for everything, and that's not the time or the place. There's one thing if your man's there. And that's because men are territorial. I remember way, way back in the day when I first met my wife and we were dating, and we went to some arcade type place. It was like Dave and Buster's before Dave and Buster's. And we're there, and I took my wife and our friends. We all went there, and my wife comes up and she's like, "Oh, these two boys were talking about me, talking about what they would talk about my chest and this, that, and the other thing." And out of nowhere, somebody said, "Where are they? I'll kill them." Would you? I don't know. And thankfully, I never had to find out because we never found those guys. But I was like, "Oh, don't worry about them. They're just talking. They wouldn't know what to do even if I gave it to them." Okay. And we went on about our time, our thing there, our time there, and we had a great day. But that just goes to show, she's mine. And I'll approach and savage the fools who will try to take her from me. It is what it is.
Level Hollywood event that people go to and show out
And once again, I'm really sorry for constantly stopping this thing. I'm really, really sorry for it. But the two guys are super simps. They are on her side no matter what. And why they're on her side? Because deep down, in places that they'll never admit to, they want her. And they'll say these things and do these things and think these things and talk to her about these things with the way in the back of their mind hope that one day she'll let them have it. And that is the whole concept behind a simp. He's doing too much in the hopes that he's going to get something that the woman has already made clear to him, either through her thoughts or more importantly through her actions, she's not going to give him. That's a simp. And they're super simps because they got a podcast. They've got a platform. They got reach. They talk to people. People listen to them. And this is what they say. I'm gonna try to let this play a little bit more.
In crazy outfits, you know what I mean? Like, I've
Yeah,
worn
that's
more
not
revealing
me.
stuff.
I'm not
I've worn more revealing
Well,
stuff to the
that
fucking
means-
Golden
yeah,
Globes
I don't know
than
what
Brie
that-
has.
I
I
don't know
promise.
if that's- I don't know if that
But,
proves
like,
a point,
I, like-
but-
Wow.
Like, I'm not. That's not me. I'm not.
I don't think so. You'd be okay with the Instagram post? I'm kind of surprised. The boobs out. It's not too much for you. Kind of.
There with like my nipples and my coochie out. Like that has never been me. And he was trying to paint me as this. But the cherry on the top of all of that was he reposted that picture of me on his story and was like, "You are so beautiful."
Why did he do that? Maybe because he was in the moment. And when you're in the moment, you say things. You do things that you wouldn't normally do. You look so beautiful. And you say that because you're thinking, she's going to hear that. She's going to read that. I'm going to get some. I'm going to get some. So that's what I mean when I say you're in the moment. The moment is the point that leads up to sex. And I'm going to get some. I'm going to get some. So I'm going to tell her what she needs to hear. You look beautiful. I wish you wouldn't wear that. You look beautiful. And who knows? Maybe later on, either he came to his senses or maybe one of his friends said, "You let her go out like that? Not a good look." I mean, it is a good look, but not for you. And that's one thing a lot of people tend to look over. They look over the fact that people tend to look at the end product. Now, women are notorious for this, but we guys do it too. We're just more step focused than women are. We understand we have to take it to certain places and do certain things in order to get our end goal, which is to have sex. Women just, blam, it's got to be there all at once, which is stupid, short-sighted, and more times than not leads you into a whole mess of trouble. But there you go. You tell him, Rexy. Oh, man. Let's get back into it.
While freaking out behind the scenes.
While freaking out behind the scenes.
Yeah, because guys don't want to argue publicly. Guys want to make sure everything's okay. We can go sort this out. I mean, I think there's nothing worse you can do to a guy than argue in public.
This is true.
That's
This is
the
true.
most embarrassing thing to a man.
Following all of us and unfollowing me. So like, oh man, it was just such a tug of war, like with my emotions in my head. Like that was obviously crazy and God, I don't. There's so much. What do we want to talk about?
Well, did that continue?
Yeah. The main takeaway from this is that she was punching way over her league. She's a solid 6 trying to talk to an 8/9. And you'll get their attention as far as getting what they want out of it, which is getting boxed. But it's never going any further than that. And if someone would had sat her down and talked to her about it, she at least had that in the back of her mind as she went into the situation. Would she listen? Doubt it. Because she could change him. Which is another big fallacy that they like to tell people. You can change a man. No, you can't. Unless he wants to be changed. And there's the key word, wants. If he wants to be changed, you can change him. But if he doesn't want to change, I don't care what you do. Ain't a darn thing happening. Nothing. Less than nothing. Let's get back to it again.
At all, Brie, like, was there a continuation of the post controlling and like did you have to start reviewing posts by this guy? Or was this
No. Well, no, I started. That's what I mean by I lost myself. Like everything I did in the back of my head, I had, is Zach gonna be mad?
Right.
Exactly. See, this is what I'm saying. She had to change her personality, number 3.
And as you can see here, she's got stages of dating a guy out of your league. 1, can't believe this is real. 2, anxiety/jealousy. 3, change your personality. 4, friends are worried. 5, therapy. 6, take footage for social media. 7, breakup claims sexual assault or abuse. 8, tell-all book and podcast. And most women don't even get to 8 because they're not that special. At least it's not that they're not that special because all girls are special. It's more along the lines that they don't think that far ahead. Three should be enough. If you ever get to 3, it's time to call it. Because you should never change your personality for anybody. Because they should accept you as you are. Again, it is what it is. Let's get back to it.
In order to be with a guy that's better than her. This woman's solution is just gonna be to get with a guy that lets you do whatever you want. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, I mean, men that don't have, like, think about this. Could you blame Zach Bryan? I can't. If I'm Zach Bryan, and
That's who he is, Zach Bryan. That's who he is.
I mean, my woman's attractive, right? But there's an equally attractive woman, if not more attractive, in every city that's willing to do whatever I want. What am I going to put up with anything for? Do you know what
And that right there is the modus operandi, the MO of a high value man. A Chad, a Pookie, a Ray Ray, an Enrique, a Ricardo. That type of person. That's how they operate. That's the air they live in. Why should I put up with your nonsense when I got her, and her that look at least as good as you, if not better, that will do exactly what I asked them to do without any shenanigans? I snapped their fingers, there they are. Ask me, what do you want? What do you need? Again, it's not right. It's not fair. It's not just. It certainly isn't kind. But it's the way things operate today. And again, it is what it is. I honestly think that nobody should have to live like that. But who am I? I'm one guy trying to make his way in a sea of idiots. That's it. No more, no less. They say that one man can make a difference. Can one man make a difference? If he can talk to the right people, yes, but one man by himself can't do jack. One man by himself can't do jack. And if that one man talks to enough people that he gets the ear of a person who can actually do something, because they would have power, prestige, and status to make changes, then maybe, just maybe, things will change. But let's be real. If they did change, are you going to get credit for it? Doubt it. Highly doubt it. You just have to be the type of person that says, well, okay, I thought of it, it happened. No one will go give me credit for it, but at least it's happening. Let's just do a little bit more of this.
What I mean, guys, it's like, why would you put up with anything when you could just, I'm thinking of the incentives here.
They're going to be a reaction to this. Like, I have to make sure everything I do isn't
Walking
going to
on
cause eggshells, like eggshells.
Which is nuts, again, and maybe you hear it on time, but it's like, why, Zach, would you go down a path with a woman who has like a blossoming career? You know who she is, and then suddenly be like, drop it. You mentioned, and I didn't know this, when we negotiated your last, and this is all I found out post, when we negotiated like your renewal, that he wanted to pay you more than we were going to pay you just not to work.
Yeah.
Must be nice to live like that, wouldn't it? But let's dissect that for a minute. You are in the renewal contract discussions for the podcast. Your boyfriend says, I don't want you to work. Whatever they offer you, I'm going to double it. Just so that you can stay here. Do you really, really think that women as a whole are going to pass that up? Now, Brianna there, she's masculine. She's in it for her. She's got her own career. She makes her own money. She does her own things. She doesn't need a man. She wants a man. Which is why she's single today. Because she doesn't need somebody. She wants somebody. But the people that would want her, she doesn't see. And I know that's true because back in the day, Before I met my wife, I was dating this girl, and it turned into a complete and total shit show. I broke up with her for a summer. I came back. She said she'd take me back. She started fooling around. She met some other guy. We went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was never the same. And one of the last things that we talked about was I had asked her something about how she was dating somebody, how she could she could talk to somebody and still be with me. She said, "Well, when I was with you, I couldn't see anybody else. I didn't see anybody else. There was nobody else," which gave me pause for a minute. And then looking back on that, that was true. That was true. You didn't date somebody because when it was in the beginning, when it was good and everything was fine and there was nobody else and everything was copacetic, I was it. She didn't see anybody. There was nobody else for her. All she could see was being with me. The problem I had with her, which started the nonsense, was that she wouldn't come see me. I had to make the effort to go see her. Now, looking back on it, that wasn't such a bad thing. But back then, I'm thinking, well, if she likes me, she can come to me. I'm not going to go to her all the time. And what made that even more pronounced is when I met my wife and we were dating, she drove to me all the time. She always came to see me 3, 4 times a week. So we moved in together. She always came to see me. She tell her friends, not tonight, I'm going to be with my boyfriend. Which is something else I never heard of before. I had to keep her. And fortunately for me, I had enough sense to keep her. Here I am almost 30 years later. Still with her, still in love with her. Watching each day come by and being very grateful and very thankful that she came into my life. Let's get back.
Yeah, he offered to double what you offered me so that I would quit.
Okay, so let me just write down this alleged abuse. Offered her double.
And this is her.
her
She's typing down
salary to
the alleged
just
abuses,
quit and
as she
be
calls it.
his girlfriend.
And I don't know very many people at all who would call that abuse.
There's a lot of women that are going to sign up for this abuse. I'll tell you what.
And this was, what month was this? I go by hair colors. This was probably like November maybe? I don't know. And then I was like, no, I love my job. I love what I do. I love who I am. Like, you're not gonna take everything away from me. Like, I said I would come on the road with you because I can still do my job and I can still be me and I can still do my podcast. But he just didn't want me to do it, and he always made.
See what I mean? It was all about her. It wasn't about him. It wasn't even about us. It was about me. I. Me. Who sounds narcissistic now? Spoiler alert. It ain't him.
He twisted it in my head where he would make me be like, you're better than this. You're better than Barstool. You're destined for so much more. Like, he would twist it where it was like, he made me believe, yeah, fuck that. Maybe I should leave Barstool. Like,
yeah. But and with your level of narcissism, I don't think it took that much. He made me believe He can't make you do anything, hun. He can't make you do anything that you don't want for yourself, that you don't want to do. Can't nobody make you do anything. That's why when people say, he made me do this, he made me do that, I look at him like, really? He made you do that? No, he didn't make you do it. He gave you the out that you needed so that you would do it. Because it's what you were thinking all along. You did think you were better than Barstool. So you thought you should leave. You did think you were better than them. So you go, man, maybe I should. But then you thought, nah, I can't be bothered with that. It's not my decision. Now flip that. Do you think that if she told him to stop touring, stop getting on the road, don't be on the road all the time, this, that, and the other thing, do you think, honestly, that there'd be a big issue about it? The bottom line is this. He's a Chad. He's a Giga Chad. You had your moment, and it's done. Now, one thing she did say about the NDA, stuff like that, that's a little suspect. Only because you don't really, when you break up with somebody, that's it. Out of sight, out of mind. Have a good one. So long. See you wouldn't want to be. Bye-bye. When you start having people sign NDAs about your situation, that's kind of suspect. Because the first thing you're going to think is, why can't I tell anybody? Why can't I talk about it? But and even saying that, that's a whole lot of money to keep your mouth shut. And as much as I hate to say it, I'm in that situation, you would never see me again. Because I'm going to take that money and I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And I'm going to live my best life.
But no, like I love my job and I love what I do, and like people have always loved me, and people started to hate me because I became this version of him through dating him.
Nah. I like how people say, people love me. No, they don't love you. Because just as fast as they put you up, they'll tear you down and not think twice about it. That is the price of fame. Which is why you should never burn your bridges on the way up, because you're going to need those rungs on the way back down. People will build you up and just as fast tear you down. And for proof, you can look at just about anybody. Now, whether it's their fault or not is irrelevant. Let's take our friend Will Smith. He spent decades building himself up. And the people right with him, build him up, build him up, build him up. First, he was a great rapper. They say, he was all right. He wasn't great to me, but he was a rapper. Then became a movie star. Again, he was good. Was he great? I don't think so, but that's just me. And he married Jada Pinkett, and people were building them up, building them up. This is our power couple. This is our power couple. Will and Jada, this is our power couple. Blah blah blah. And due to no fault of his own, because it's been documented that she cheated, he cheated too, they both cheated. But it was her cheating that brought about his downfall. Because as much as people didn't want to believe it, there's still going to be a group of people that think, yeah, yes, he did. Yes, he did. And now I hate him for it. Me personally, I could care less. Never did really like the guy. Was he talented? Yes. Do I respect him for it? Absolutely. Did I like him as a person? Debatable. Did I want to be him? No. And you don't have to believe me, because if I could put you in contact with people that I was with back in the day when he was coming up and everybody else like that, will tell you, I never liked him. Ever. And he had some good songs that I liked. Back in the days with Jazzy Jeff and the First Prince. I liked that stuff, yeah. I did. I'll admit to it. It was me. I liked it. But that just goes to show you that I can like what you do and not like you. And that goes to many, many famous people in history. I like what they did. I'm a beneficiary of what they did, so I must have liked it. Did I like them? Not so much. Let's do a little bit more of this.
Okay, so and this is the challenge we get, because their audience is more catered to women, right? They're big on TikTok. That's like a female app. So the things that women sell, like call her daddy, right? We celebrate each other for things that men don't like. And so, in order to be with these high level guys, I don't think that she could do that and have this podcast. That's the challenge she's going to have.
There's so many different.
Yeah, they said he was serious, she was not. She is also untrustworthy in that she can shape her body to others, drop her guy when she finds a new one, still shopping.
There's a lot of, there were, and made.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Zach Bryan thought, oh no, man, you met me with your ex-boyfriend. Now I'm gonna send you to the Golden Globes to find your ex-boyfriend. Yeah,
this podcast obviously difficult because like we'd see the follow unfollow, people want to know, or things like cheating scandals, and you ate quite a bit of shit like for him, and we talked about the diss track, like the Noah Khan, which was a
I call cap. I call cap. You ate his stuff. Because it wasn't a problem then. It's a big problem now, but it wasn't a problem back then. Things will be great right up to the point where they're not. Then you run into issues.
A huge story at like Fenway night 2. You're there. Everyone's like, Zach's supposed to be there. He got too drunk. And you were like, no, he's not supposed to be here. Like, you guys are crazy on the internet. Yeah. In hindsight, the internet was right. Like you said, the internet's always almost right in a lot of things. So I don't know how to deal with that. Like, how did you constantly kind of carrying his water, especially on like a gossip show like this.
Yeah, I mean, I ate so much for that dude, and like,
What did you eat?
as
We
I
need
would for
details.
anyone that I loved or cared about. Like, I loved him. I was gonna protect him. I even though I shouldn't have, but
I can't. That's enough of that nonsense. That's the latest edition of Pearl Daily. It's 1 hour, 49 minutes and some seconds, where she goes into how this representative of today's modern woman was punched out of her league and got upset when she was sent back down. And it's amazing to me anyway that she didn't see this coming. I know that somewhere in the back of her mind she's thinking he's too good for me. This can't end well. But then again, thinking that way, the next thought in my head is, but I can change him. I can make him into the person that I need him to be. No, you can't. No, you can't. Because he don't want to change. Now, the only thing that she could think about that may give her solace in the coming days, weeks, and months and years going ahead is that he's in a field that is transitory. There will be a day that he wakes up and the fans won't be there. He'll wake up and everyone will be like, Zach who? And he'll be normal. But if he listens to his people, and he's got the right people around him, and he's putting some of that money he's got away, or putting a lot of it away, he's set for life. There's a family that I know. I was good friends with their sons for many years, whose father was well off, and I don't know if their sons have ever truly had a job. They've worked, but it was something light. It was like more for like chump change. It was their spending money. It was their pocket change. They didn't need it. They didn't need it at all. But then again, they had their father was in their lives. He really cared about them. I'm sure he put stuff away for them so that they'd be set. They're in their late 50s now, like I am. And I'm sure that they've done well for themselves. And I wish them nothing but the best. It is what it is. And with that, I'm going to call it on this one. I want to thank everybody for getting this far into the video and allowing me to vent again. Thank you all for your thoughts, your prayers, and your love as I continually strive to get better after that really scary incident. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back about 2, maybe 3 months, and you can watch for yourself what happened and the journey I made from that point to this point. And as I close out, once again, if you like the video, if you like the channel, I should say, like the video. At the very least, it's free and it helps us to get better. And we operate in the power of 5. Like, easy, free. Comment, easy, free. Subscribe, free. Notify via notification bell, free. Share, free. I didn't say anything there that costs you anything but your time. And if you're listening to me, should be no thing to do that. And if you want to go for even further, you can check the links below. And you could consider donations. Every little bit helps. And with that being said, until the next, the King of the Cool, OBJ, saying peace to you all. Take care of yourselves. We gone.